Hi, everyone. We are now about to kick off the TTA Challenges. So how many of you here are familiar with the TTA, the Transformative Technology Academy? Okay, just a few. So I will give a brief introduction. The TTA is a program that's part of the Transtech Lab and also part of the Transtech Conference, where we put on a virtual and free program for aspiring and current entrepreneurs looking to develop startups in the transformative technology space. And we started it last year. Last year we had over 1,000 applicants from 69 different countries. This year we had a little bit more, and it was a 4-week program running from September 15th to October 15th of this year. And we had a lot of people working on really interesting Transtech problems. This year we did something slightly different from last year, where we had 3 principal challenges that people could work on, right? So instead of just working on the entire Transtech space, they could also pick one of 3 challenges. And I will read to you what those 3 challenges are. And what we did was we picked the teams that presented at the end of the program on their solutions to these unique challenges, and we picked the ones that we think are representative or of the best of the program. So I would like all of you to give a round of applause to the teams as I mention them. But before that, I will tell you about the challenges, and I want to reiterate that these people only are not working on these ventures full time for the most part. A lot of them, have been only working on these challenges in the past couple months as we started the program. So a lot of the products are not as advanced as what you might have seen yesterday as part of the Pitch Fest. So the first challenge we have is 21st century flourishing. As everyone knows, flourishing in the 21st century requires more skills than just what we've been working on in the past. Requires more in terms of psychological health. And for example, rather than emotional health, we also need to focus on skills like emotional intelligence. Thriving needs to happen both at work and at home, and it'll be about developing the cognitive, emotional literacy and fluency that's required. Our challenge specifically was compassion as a 21st century essential skill, and it was called the C-Care Challenge. The challenge is we asked entrepreneurs, how might we radically accelerate the development and expression of human compassion, the meaning and deep connection for millennials in a way that aligns their values so they can find and express their authentic self? So I would like to welcome to the stage Cynthia Phelps, who will tell us about her solution to this challenge called InnerAlly. Please give Cynthia a round of applause.
All right. Well, my name is Cynthia Phelps, and the name of my company is InnerAlly, and I make research-based tools to help you practice self-compassion and create emotional fitness. So this is happy Cynthia. But it wasn't always that way. I actually, like many people, incurred some trauma in my life, and one of the things that happened was I started to cope with alcohol. And if I'm going to be honest, I was really an alcoholic. And it was really hard for me to get this because I'd studied neuroscience and pharmacology, but I couldn't think my way out of it. And so, reluctantly, I checked myself into rehab. Very humbling. Now, rehab taught me what it was like to have a mental illness. It also taught me kind of how to structure my life so that I didn't need to drink. But there was one crucial element, the core element, that it didn't touch, and it was shame. So I had an inner narrative that sounded like, you're weak for having a mental illness. You're squandering your opportunities. You're not worthwhile. And this toxic narrative kept me mired in addiction, even after I got out of rehab. But I was reading some research articles one day, and I ran across one on self-compassion, and it was like, the clouds parted, and I was like, this is what I need, the missing link. So what is self-compassion? Very simply put, it's treating yourself with the kindness and support that, especially during a time of trouble or suffering. So self-compassion is a skill that you can build. It is a practice you can do on a daily basis. And it's important, it's a quality you can measure. So we can do research on it and create evidence-based interventions. So there's 16 years of self-compassion research at this point. It's trending about 5 years or so behind that of mindfulness and meditation. And we know that high levels of self-compassion are associated with lower levels of depression, stress, anxiety, and the work that I've done also shows risk for addiction. But today, what I want to talk about is the bottom half of this slide, because this is the flourishing part. Imagine if you had these skills of self-compassion before you ran into the trauma. So, why today? You've probably seen these things in several other people's talks. The CDC just put out a study that was a decade long that showed that in our young people, suicide is up 56% and it's trending upwards. This is alarming. And I want you to look and see if you can figure out, what do these have in common? One of the ties that bind these together is a toxic inner narrative. So, when I first started practicing self-compassion, it was pretty easy for me to kind of look around and pick out those toxic inner narratives that I had going on. But when I tried to actually practice the compassionate part and put in a new compassionate narrative, it was like a void. I had no language for it. And in fact, when I read the scripted one, it felt awkward and just almost embarrassing, even though I was only one in my head, right? So I knew I needed some help. And that's why I created the InnerAllies. The InnerAllies are a research-based cast of 16 characters. They're based on schema therapy, and each of these characters has a core emotional need. Now, this is the thing that you really need to thrive and have a wonderful life. Each of the characters comes with stock compassionate language. It's like a little cheat sheet. And these characters can help you maybe do things you wouldn't normally do. So it's just like Halloween, where you put on a costume, all of a sudden you can kind of say things you wouldn't normally say. It's the same thing with these InnerAllies. And right now, they're in a physical manifestation, and I use these with my coaching clients, and they write their customized phrases on the back here. But clearly this needs to be a digitable, scalable product, right? Where the core mechanic is getting a compassionate message from an ally on a daily basis, customizing that language for yourself, saving it, and sharing it. Target market, clearly millennials. They spent as much on self-care as, or more on self-care than baby boomers, which is truly remarkable. The business model has been laid out by Calm, which is a subscription-based wellness model. InnerAlly is set up as a B corporation. The name is trademarked, with the premier researcher in the area has a small equity stake. I have tried to get this product off the ground a couple times in San Antonio and have not been successful. But I have learned so much. And one of the things I've learned is that the timing right now is right. I think within 5 years, you're going to see that the skills of self-compassion are going to be just as important as what we think mindfulness and meditation is today. And so when I look around here, I see people with the skills and expertise to make this come to fruition. So, who's with me?
Thank you, Cynthia. Cynthia, by the way, came all the way from Texas to deliver her pitch. So next we have Challenge 2. So the focus for our Challenge 2 was mental, emotional well-being. So as we know, going forward, everyone will need another set of skills, not just career skills, but mental and emotional well-being skills. What many people don't realize is that these skills are to some extent trainable. So our specific challenge was called the Brandon Marshall Challenge, and it was called Mental Fitness as a Life Skill. How might we turn the tide of mental health issues for millennials and Gen Z in a way that teaches skills preventatively? I'd like to welcome to the stage Katherine with her idea for teaching mental wellness called movie therapy. Please give Katherine a round of applause.
Thank you. First of all, I want to say that I'm extremely thankful for TTA community and founders, because my journey begins from last year, this conference. I was so fascinated by every talk that now I'm staying here. I can't believe it. 1 year. What is common between me sitting in this office room and Groundhog Day movie? First of all, I was born on the 2nd of February, but the issue is that in the age of 27, I ran almost 30 people team of ad agency. I can't remember when I relaxed last time. I even didn't know how. Every time that I try to read a book or watch a movie, I'm just thinking what I have to do next, or my to-do list flashes in front of my eyes. I feel guilty because I think that probably I could be in a gym, or calling my mom, or buying a gift for my boyfriend. It was tremendously difficult to find time for therapy in all this routine. And what concerned me a lot, that I had a strong belief that therapy requires years, decades, lying on a couch and talking about your mom. So it leads me to a problem that many millennials are facing. They can't find time for therapy, but also because they have a lot of expectations, they experience burnout, but also they experience expectations from therapy to provide actionable steps toward very quick relief of symptoms. Our idea is, instead of trying to change people's behavior, capitalize on existing habits of watching movies and transform it into catalyst for positive psychological change. There are a lot of self-therapy tools already on the market, but you have to spend extra time on it. Our idea is to make mental wellness entertaining and actionable. Accidentally, I met a girl aspiring female entrepreneur who offered me to try cinema therapy. I tried, and first movie that therapist prescribed me was Groundhog Day. Although I watched this movie many times, I was fascinated how interesting it is to dig deeper and see how heroes, by small everyday changes, change his behavior, became authentic, compassionate, and his life circumstances changed too. It works for me also. Cinema therapy is known for many years. You can see that research shows that 67% of licensed psychologists effectively using it in their practice. When psychologists can offer the right movie and the right time, it leads to epiphany and breakthrough of their clients. How digital version of mindful movie watching works? Step 1, you can choose disturbing topic and got a plan. We offer you different options where you can watch a movie. We are not replacing or compete with streaming services. We want to collaborate with them. Second step, you return to your experience to self-reflect after movie based on prompt in algorithm and gain more insight about your current disturbing issue. Third phase is your self-evaluation and set of control exercises between movie sessions. Together with the advisors, we develop better version of algorithm based on topic of dating with substandard patterns. We choose dating topics because increasing number of millennials say that their romantic relationship brings them to the therapist's door. We offer 3 movies that works on different aspects of this issue and reflection experience after them. Also, we conducted a product market validation feed. We created an emulated page of our app, which does not exist yet, but we run a Facebook ad to track that we can get a very good customer acquisition cost, which is twice lower than average for health and fitness category in the App Store, and also the good conversion to installs rate. And even 40% of users that click download left their email to be notified that when app will be launched. Our management team works together for many years. We successfully built agency business. We have skills in product management, behavioral science, and marketing. Our advisors panel is very diverse because we want to see all this framework holistically and leverage different aspects of multimedia content. We believe that watching movie today and watching Netflix today can become a natural space for mental wellness tomorrow, just by adding extra layer of conscious content consuming that can enhance cognitive and emotional abilities. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think that was a really creative way to approach our second challenge. Our third challenge was based on the focus of future human potential and performance. So as we all know, in the future basics world, and with the 21st century flourishing skills of cognitive, emotional, and social fluency, we're going to need collaboration, creativity, adaptability. And our specific challenge was in the workplace. It was a workplace wellness challenge, and it's called the Delos Spaces and Places Challenge. The specific question was, how might we ensure employees have a healthy work environment, priming them for high performance and well-being in a constantly changing world? And joining us from, I think, the farthest of the three teams from Finland is the ForRest team. Korpi ForRest team, sorry.
Good evening, and greetings from Finland, land of 1,000 lakes and one big forest. We are Korpi ForRest, the second best solution for resting your mind. Work today is complex and demanding. To cope with it, we need to be extremely resilient. So work at its best is an awesome flow, which makes us spend countless hours on it. On the other hand, it weighs on our well-being and easily leads to a cognitive overload. Our workspaces and tight schedules don't support wellness or effective work. And numerous studies have shown that cognitive fatigue is a threat to our productivity and creativity. To handle this, we need to take breaks. Not just any kind of breaks. They need to be efficient and restorative, and we need to take them often. So by maintaining our cognitive capacity during the day, we avoid the inefficiency that causes 70% of the cost to work-related stress.
And tree huggers have had the solution for a long time. But thank God for science, as it has also been proven that forests not only have impressive restorative effects, but they also boost creativity and trigger positive emotions and happiness. And luckily for us all here, these effects can be achieved simply by watching and listening to the sounds of forest also. Like Sampo said, also research has shown that we need to take breaks every 60 to 90 minutes. And in fact, the top 10% of productive employees use 30% of their time on breaks. And this is why we decided that it's now time to build an easy and efficient solution for us all. A science-based recovery tool that enables us to take effective breaks with the help of forest and technology. By bringing the forest to the office with realistic visuals, sounds, and scents, these benefits can be enjoyed by every one of us. Our solution has also sensors which track and collect data, enabling and making it. Our sensors. We have sensors which track and collect data during and before and after the break, making it easy and convenient to take the breaks accordingly. And this way, any one of us can be a top performer. Regarding the market, We're in the intersection of three rapidly growing transformative technology sectors, namely meditation, silent booths, and recovery tracking sensors. What comes to the corporate stress management market itself, it's a $6 billion opportunity growing 8% every year.
For us founders, Mikko and I, the forest has always been there. And after going through some tough times in our lives, we realized it's much more than just a source of timber. We have a solid set of expertise from social and healthcare and science. In addition, we got a great set of team members and partners with us. We have a prototype and closed our first paying pilots. And we built a collaboration network and have genuine connections with some of the leading experts in environmental, cognitive, and occupational psychology. We're seeking for pilot customers and advisors who underwrite our values and have a passion in well-being, nature, and tech. So if you or your friends share these thoughts, please come and give us a hug.
We are Korpi Forest, the second best solution for resting your mind. My name is Mikko.
And I'm Sampo.
And together we thank you.